Mara Kronenfeld is the Executive Director of UNRWA USA, the US National Committee for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. She joins us now from Washington, D.C. Really good to have you with us, Mara. Let's start with the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Aid is trickling in as Israel faces mounting international pressure to allow more supplies in. Even Donald Trump has said there's real starvation on the ground. What's your assessment of what's happening in Gaza right now?
Thank you, and thank you for having me tonight. Yes, aid is trickling in. You said it right. It's trickling in, and it really is a drop a drop of aid in an ocean of need. What we really need is 500 to 600 trucks of aid coming in daily to address just the immediate humanitarian needs, let alone, ensure there's some sort of ongoing commercial activities. Just 500, 600 trucks of aid to ease the starvation and malnourishment we're seeing. And there also is, by the way, not only a man-made starvation, weaponized starvation, but also weaponized drought. People have very little access to water, and most of the water wells right now are in 80% of the water hygiene and sanitation parts of the Gaza Strip are within the Israeli military control. So it is indeed a horrific moment, and really, while we welcome, of course, any aid, what we're seeing in terms of very few trucks and then some airdrops, it's just nowhere near what is needed. And as many of the Palestinians in Gaza said in earlier interviews that I just saw, they don't know when there's something coming from a plane, when they hear the plane, whether it's a bomb or aid. This is not how aid is done in a transparent, independent manner in which the dignity of those who receive it is of concern. We need much more aid, and we need it done by the experts. UNRWA, for example, has had 75 years of aid distribution, the largest and longest experience in aid distribution in the planet.
Well, that's right. As you say, your organization has had decades of experience in distributing aid to the people of Gaza in what's been described as a more dignified and humane way. But we know that Donald Trump twice now has cut funding, US funding to UNRWA, and the Israeli government has also banned UNRWA from operating on Israeli soil, forcing it to essentially shut its operations in Gaza as well. What is your vision for UNRWA right now? Do you see that organization being able to continue its operations again in the future?
Yeah, actually, you're right that the Israeli government has shut down UNRWA operations over areas that it purports to control. Actually, in Gaza, there are 12,000 UNRWA staff members who are Palestinian, who are from Gaza, who are providing aid every single day. 12,000 staff members who are fixing water wells, who are continuing to teach children whenever possible, who are doctors, nurses, and medical staff. So despite Israel's attempt to shut down UNRWA, it can't in Gaza, which it is, which is territory that is Palestinian territory, and despite it being occupied by Israel. There are UNRWA staff members to this day who continue to work even while they themselves and their families are starving. What needs to happen, though, is there are 6,000 trucks of UNRWA trucks sitting in Jordan and Egypt ready to come into the Gaza Strip, and those 6,000 trucks would feed the whole of Gaza for 3 months if they were just let in. We need to be absolutely clear. This is man-made weaponized starvation that could be fixed if only full-throated humanitarian aid by experienced, trustworthy, independent actors, the United Nations, were let in. What is happening now is a Band-Aid at best, and more than that, it's a cynical ploy to distract us while more and more Palestinians perish.
Donald Trump, in acknowledging the starvation in Gaza, he also pledged to set up food centres in the enclave. What do you make of those comments?
We welcome absolutely President Trump's recognition of the starvation that we've all seen with our own eyes, image upon image. What we do know is that the four sites from which Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, quote unquote humanitarian foundation, purports to give aid, causes, as one of the Palestinians you interviewed mentioned, allows only those who are able-bodied to reach that aid. And frankly, it's at the southern tip of Gaza. Many others cannot reach it, and the vulnerable, the elderly, single mothers, the disabled, children, orphans cannot reach this aid. So we welcome absolutely more aid centers, and I will say that UNRWA, again, having provided aid to the Gaza Strip for 75 years, had 400 aid sites. This is the kind of scale of operations that we need, and the people who had that experience, who need to be deployed at this moment for that aid distribution, are the 12,000 UNRWA workers on the ground who know how to do this and know how to do it well, and before too many more people perish in Gaza.
Okay, Mara Kronenfeld, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much again for joining us on the program.
Thank you.